Hello, I'm Mike Rothman, and welcome to Inside Marvel Darth Vader, where we catch up on everyone's favorite baby Sith Lord, as we like to call him at this point.
Baby.
Baby. Yeah, he's just an angry baby at this point. Joining me today, I'm so happy to welcome you guys, Marvel editors Jordan White and Heather Antos.
Hey.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
We were just talking about your amazing sweater a second ago.
I came prepared.
Do you want to give a shout out to the person who got that for you?
I will. I'll give a shout out to my mom. My mom got this for me for my birthday like 5 years ago.
Oh, it's held up nicely.
Yeah.
The bar's raised for all their mothers out there.
Yeah, that's true.
So we are here to talk about 2 issues today. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Issues 7 and 8. Darth is as angry as ever. So angry.
I like that we've just established too. His first name is Darth.
You can, even if it was his title, you can call someone by their title.
Yeah, he got the title Lord this time too,
true,
which is very nice.
Yeah.
So
Official.
for those just joining us and just joining the show, or we're just joining the series, this is a series that takes place between episodes 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. It's essentially Darth's first missions as Darth. Mm-hmm. So as you can tell, I mean, he's in pain mentally, physically. Existential crisis is happening.
Yeah.
So it's like a teenage angst series, basically. Mm-hmm. But let's go over issues 7 and 8.
So these are the first 2 issues of the second major arc of the book. Okay. At the end of issue 6, Vader, if you prefer.
Thank you.
Vader is introduced to the Inquisitor program,
Yes.
Inquisitorius, and told that he's in charge of it. So we start this one with him beginning to train the other Inquisitors.
And he's so nice about it, too.
He's such a nurturing teacher.
Yeah, and for those that don't know who the Inquisitorius are,
yes.
they're they're kind of like these special agents of the Emperor. They're all Force users,
Yeah,
right?
they're users of the dark side of the Force, but they're not.
Sith.
They're not.
Yes.
Yeah,
brought
they're
into
not
the ways
Sith.
of the Sith.
And the Emperor makes it clear in this
Yes.
one, so they're not
Yeah.
up to the levels of Darth. As we've seen, he's cutting off limbs and arms.
Left and right.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and we also are introduced to reintroduced
Yes.
to a beloved character, JOCASTA Nu. Tell us about her, please.
Jedi librarian.
I like to think of her as the grandmother of the Jedi. Like if Yoda's, grandpappy, kind of that wise older figure, JOCASTA is the grandmother who reads you all the Jedi library bedtime stories.
We see her in episode 2, correct?
Yep.
It's episode 2 in the scene where they're trying to locate Camino.
Yeah.
And
you see the oh gosh, I can't think of the planetarium is an equivalent
Yeah,
in the
sure,
Star Wars
the hologram.
universe.
Galactic
yes.
map.
Yeah, galactic map. There you go.
Because she's the keeper of all the Jedi archives, which is the rooms with the kind of blue glowing book-like
Books.
things.
We call them books.
They're bookish. Okay, they're
We
books.
call them books.
It's like a Jedi Mary Poppins, basically.
Well,
She doesn't have a bag that just has no bottom, but
not that we know of. Maybe she does.
Instead of an umbrella, she has a lightsaber.
Yes.
Exactly
Yes.
true. Mary Poppins might have been a Jedi. You never know.
if that umbrella doubled as a lightsaber, I would not be surprised.
Although I don't know anybody with a talking lightsaber. That would be cool, though.
I think we've derailed.
A little bit.
We knew this was going to happen. We knew the conversation we were having before we went live. We knew this was going to happen. It's fine. This is great.
The famous bit she had was when she said, I think she said to Obi-Wan, if it's not in the Jedi archives, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Yes.
The Jedi hubris once again, which we'll see later on, comes back to possibly bite her. We'll see.
Yes. To be continued.
To be continued. But you were talking about, I liked when you mentioned reading these bedtime stories to the young Jedi, but some she doesn't, because obviously the Grand Inquisitor has a lot of angst and anger against our beloved, delightful...
He just wanted to read the forbidden books, man. That's all he wanted. He wanted that information, and she said no.
Yeah, it's kind of like it reminded me of Game of Thrones with Sam in the Citadel this most recent season. He just wants to steal all the forbidden books.
And like cut dying flesh off of a man.
Yeah. I'm sure Grand Inquisitor will do that
Besides the point.
Tangent.
Yeah, I mean, the Grand Inquisitor, basically, he was a Jedi temple guard. And yeah, very much the implication here is that he wanted to learn more. He wanted to do more studies and learn more about the ways of the Force. And his version of it is that, yeah, she was very dismissive of him and very arrogant and like, you're not worthy of reading these things. You're just a Jedi guard.
Which sounds familiar to another guy that might be lurking around us here, who was kind of, maybe in episode 3, dismissed a little bit and wasn't as respected.
I mean, anything that can tap into that anger can definitely lead you to the dark side, for sure. And
we see her doing a lot of work. Apparently, it seems like, I love the tea. The tea part's my favorite. She's been working. Some tea. I'm essentially, like a first-year law student. She's been working like 72 hours straight, apparently, and her trusted sidekick is handing her some nice, I guess, green tea.
Yeah.
And no coffee. No.
Gotta stay calm.
She wants to be soothed. Yeah.
I feel like, you know what? This is a good conversation. I feel like Sith are coffee drinkers.
Oh.
Because it hypes up their energy and it makes them a little bit more impulsive.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Jedi are tea drinkers.
Yeah. And I also imagine JOCASTA's British accent, sipping the tea, maybe having a couple cookies on the side.
Yeah, biscuits.
Yeah. In issue 7, we learned that
Jordan's getting us back on track.
He's like, but let's talk about Star Wars.
I just wanted to mention it because in issue 7 we learned that she was not in the temple. Either she was not in the temple for Order 66, or she escaped from it. Either way.
Or she could have been in her secret archives.
That's true. She could have been hiding in the secret archives. We learned about in issue 8.
Yes.
But she is now off planet, trying to save and preserve as much Jedi knowledge as possible, and eventually she says it's because she wants to build a school, a new Jedi school, and it's sad because we kind of know vaguely how that's going to go.
But the interesting part too, I like between, if you look at the Grand Inquisitor versus Darth's mission and the Emperor, obviously, this is the classic age-old climax where it's like, both villains want after this one person. One just wants to kill her, which is the Grand Inquisitor, and the other one, they want. The Emperor's kind of almost afraid of her because he does. I think in the back of his mind, even though he's grandiose with his talk, he knows that maybe she could possibly. It's a long shot, but could build something that would, take him down. I'd love to talk about that because that's going to be a really interesting dynamic moving forward.
Well, I think he also, he just knows who she is, and he knows that she has all of this knowledge, and if someone is going to pass on this knowledge, it's going to be her. Yeah. No one has any clue where Yoda went off to, if Yoda is still around during this time period, but he does know that she's still there, and she has this knowledge, and I assume he knows specifically the knowledge that he has, which is this list of the Force-sensitive children that are roaming the galaxy. And, regardless of what his intents are with them, we know he wants that list, and we know he has malicious intent involved.
And like we said, she's got a secret Jedi cache of knowledge inside the archives that very few people know about, if any. Definitely, she's the only person left alive who knows about it. And that's also a treasure trove of Force knowledge that Sidious wants. I mean, we've definitely seen him in other comics hoarding any Jedi artifacts or holocrons or anything like that. So, if there's a chance that she's got something he can use, he needs her alive. And so, but again, speaking of people who are not great teachers, or not nice teachers, I should say, he doesn't do it in the nicest way. He gives a giant list to the Inquisitor going, here's a list of Jedi who are still alive that all need to die. Oh, there's a symbol next to that name. I'm not going to tell you what that means.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all a test. It's all a test. But speaking of knowledge is power, I want to give a shout out to our fans out there. If you guys are watching and have questions, please ask. As always, Facebook, Twitter, hit us up. I always like to do this in the comments section below. And we'll answer them for you. But back to her, she also has Sith knowledge as well, which is kind of key and crucial.
Because the Jedi have, at this point, the Jedi have, at least as far as they're aware, completely won the war against the Sith. There have not been Sith for how many years? Thousands of years.
Thousands, right? as far as they're concerned, the Sith are gone.
Yeah, they're long gone. So they are just gone. The most important and most powerful Jedi users in the galaxy. So I think they take it upon themselves to to keep all the knowledge. So probably knowledge of the Sith, you know, again, they probably keep that very restricted. They don't want the other Jedi to know about it, but they've got it there so that they can learn from it what they can.
The school aspect is interesting too. It hasn't really gone well in the past. We've seen, I mean, Episode 3, and now even harken back to 2 years ago with, you know, obviously The Force Awakens. We've seen flashbacks to that. What is the idea behind that? What is she? It seems like she obviously wants to grab other people and teach them, but does she have any other plans to make it different this time? I know it's in between those two issues.
Not that we've really seen. I mean, you know, I think for her especially, it's all about tradition.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely about keeping, you know, saving the culture and saving the history and passing that down to the next generation. I think that's very much her you know, purposes here.
I mean, for all that, nowadays we'll talk about the Jedi having the hubris and as you said, and being flawed and bringing about all this tragedy on themselves. I think they're not very self-aware, and they don't really ever become aware of it. The hope is that obviously that Obi-Wan and Yoda learned something from this, but I don't think JOCASTA did. I think she just wants to preserve the order that she's lived in her whole life and has loved. You know, it did do good in the galaxy, even though it also provided an opportunity for an evil person to rise.
But in addition to that fun list that we mentioned with the Emperor's putting together, and just doesn't explain to the Inquisitors what it is, here's my first little attempt to get something out of you guys. Are there other names on the list? Because there's a whole list of people that they want to hunt down that we will maybe know.
There's definitely a couple names on that list that people will know if they go through with their Arabesh translators.
I was gonna say,
and figure it out.
Couldn't really read it that easily, but
I don't know.
I can post the if you follow me on Twitter, I can post the art without the word balloons on it. So if people,
right.
I can post that.
That's awesome.
How come Google Translate doesn't have an Arabesh there?
Yeah, how come Google Translate doesn't have an Arabesh
I was asking
translator?
Alexa on my Echo to translate it, and she could not do it. So
She was like, "What's Arabesh?
Yeah.
What is this crap?"
We had a good time making up that list. I remember us going back and forth about who's on it for a little bit. Yeah, it was fun. It definitely was considered a lot by everybody involved.
Yeah, including Story Group. Story Group was very specific. Like, these are who... Because Star Wars fans are definitely those nitpicky fans who want to know the details. And they search... I think they search for Easter eggs, like, even more furiously than your average comic book fan, you know. I love reading, like, the Wikipedia articles and seeing the things that people put together, you know, the day an issue comes out. So definitely whenever we consider like things like that list, there's a lot of fun involved.
It's really cool. What's also really cool is we have a Facebook question.
Oh.
Wow. What do we got? We have, oh, jeez. Clinton Sandell. We know him from somewhere, right? He's a delightful ABC News reporter who actually usually joins the show. We miss you so much. He's asked, is JOCASTA's Jedi school the same one we see burning in The Last Jedi? P.S. Rothan, do you miss me? I miss you more than you know, Clayton. It's ridiculous.
I guess for that, I'd see wait until December 16th and go see The Last Jedi.
And read the rest of this arc.
Yes,
both.
that too. There will be a couple more issues that come out before Episode 8 hits theaters. So.
Does the arc wrap before that? No, I guess it won't.
No, the arc doesn't wrap before then. It wraps in February.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, you'll see.
Yeah.
I want to touch upon a little bit of Vader before we move on, because in issue 8, episode 8, issue 8, they're
two different things.
They're all mixed up in my head. I loved the line that the Emperor said, and I think I have it here. It says, "At times, I think you might kill every being in the galaxy." Just again, really like harking on this like anger that he has right now. He's just lost, obviously, the love of his life. He's lost everything, and he's just like going on a tear. How much fun is that to work on something like that?
It's a lot of fun, and you know, it's a lot of fun getting to see this raw Vader. You know, like everyone knows the more, I don't know if stoic is the right word, but the more, you know, older, wiser. Everything he does is done with a purpose that we see in the classic trilogy.
Here he's kind of finding his way.
He's finding his way, and he has all these feelings. And, we've all had those days where we're just angry and we want to like throw a plate at the wall just to see it explode.
If you want us to start throwing stuff, feel free.
I might. But he actually does it. You kind of see that in Force Awakens passed down into Kylo. Like Kylo gets angry and just destroys things.
Yeah.
He gets a little angry. He has some feelings, and we get to see that and where he gets that in Vader now.
Is issue 8 the issue where we see the scene? I don't want to give it away. The scene with the ship. With the
yes.
Okay, where he reveals
just
that
the raw power
he's
to
just
it,
like,
Vader.
Boop.
What I love about that
Told
scene
you
too,
so.
in addition to him, so he force
drop.
reassembles a ship almost. But in addition to that part of that scene, the other thing I like about it is it shows the relationship he has with the Imperial officers, and how it's a little different than we perceived it in the previous canon in Legends. That they don't all know who he is right away.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And
they say some new guy, Darth Vader. I love that.
Yeah. And it is kind of similar in building towards where he is even in A New Hope. Because at the beginning of A New Hope, they're just like, yeah, you're just kind of here as the Emperor's pet, whereas in Empire...
So they choke someone out.
Yeah,
right.
And whereas in Empire, it's like, no, that's Darth Vader. We kind of, like, let him do what he wants to. We like living.
Yeah, like, it's pretty great to see him, because he'll walk into
on
an
this
Imperial...
cozy Death Star thing that there's like the Titanic, there's nothing bad
go
going to
wrong.
happen in this whatsoever.
That he'll, like, just breeze into an Imperial investigation, and they're like, who are you? Why should we listen to you? And then he just intimidates them so badly and scares the crap out of everyone. It's pretty great.
I am kind of shocked that, like, we haven't seen Vader start force choking people left and right. And
well, doesn't he force choke somebody in this issue?
The beginning, right?
He does.
Yeah.
But like even that officer, like when they're like, yeah, I don't know why this guy's here. We are,
the officer next to him, the one that was kind of like testing his limits and like
right.
talking
Like
back. I was like,
this
is not going to end well for
man,
you,
if
buddy.
I was Vader, I would have backhanded him right there. But good restraint, Darth. Good restraint.
Well, again, the Emperor was just giving him flack for that. Like, oh, geez, you're gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, that's fair. And he is on Emperor's turf right now. They are on Coruscant. So you don't. Right, I guess he doesn't want to destroy the Emperor's guards on his own front lawn.
Yeah.
Oh, and
that makes sense.
That image that we're looking at there also notes that he's still using
Kirak's lightsaber.
He still has not put together his own hilt yet.
And we have another Facebook question, so I want to toss it to that. What do we got? Caleb, who are the guys that find a piece of news ship?
The Imperial guys, I assume.
so,
I assume that's who he's asking.
We could grab the issue.
Well, remember we
That's true. We do. Have
there are
that.
people that find. I think what is it? It's not R2. It's B2.
Yeah.
Blows up the ship when they find it, right?
A droid. Yeah.
So I think it's. I can't remember. Are they the Coruscant Guard or are they the Imperial
Security Bureau?
Security Bureau?
We are prepared for your questions, guys. Don't worry.
That's the guard.
The Coruscant Guard is in this. So I think those are those guys.
If we're talking
with the kind of like red eyes.
The red eyes, the weird like face covered helmets. If it's those, that's the Coruscant Guard. And then the guys in the white jacket are the Imperial Security Bureau. All workers of the Emperor, all buds.
All worker bees.
All paid for by Coruscant taxes.
And I do want to touch upon the meditation scene too.
Sure.
Interpreting that.
Oh, yeah.
That was extremely cool, as you see in the cover. Let's break this down. I mean, it's very quick, but what does this all mean? It seems like he's kind of. It seems like inside his head, his rage. It's very interesting.
I mean, this is the art in this is so cool. I mean,
Camo really like he pulled a different style in with this, and I don't want to talk too much about it because we do get to see more of this type of stuff as the art continues, and we delve into it a little bit more with a little more story. But this is
it's not often in Star Wars that you get to see that kind of trippy imagery.
But I also like it, and I may be reading way too much into this though, but the red and the swirling hate seems to be on the places that are still left in his body, and there's a white where he's lost his limbs.
That's
I
true.
don't know what that means.
It's pretty interesting.
Is it just a blankness that he can't feel?
That's a good question.
Look at me reading deep into this.
You're one of those Wikipedia fans, aren't you?
And then there's like the red glowing lightning, and then there's the blue glowing moths.
Butterfly things?
Butterflies.
Yeah.
I mean, what does all that mean? And I think, again, we don't want to
Spoil.
tell you. We don't want to say, here's what it means.
Right.
Just tell us how it ends.
No. They all live happily ever after.
I'll tell you how it ends. He sacrifices himself to save his son. Sorry.
Spoiler alert, dude. God.
That's like 30 years down the line,
We
so.
got a lot of issues before that.
Wait, I have not seen that one yet.
Oh, no!
I've been waiting for this all to end, and then I was going to watch it.
Oh, no!
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So before we wrap, what's next? What's coming? What can you tease us coming down the line?
Well, this issue ends teeing up a fight between JOCASTA and
the Grand Inquisitor. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's going to kick off in
And
the
Darth
next
is still
issue.
looming in the background, so I think it's going to work out really well for
Yeah,
JOCASTA.
gonna be great.
He's not on the scene yet. He's still, outside the building. So we get to see.
Well, but again, Vader wants her alive.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. We've got an arc coming up, in a shorter arc, in which someone is targeting Vader.
Yep.
Which is going to be fun.
We've
don't wanna
seen
say
that
too
before.
much
That's
about
always fun to see someone try to target Vader.
They're like, I
because-
got this guy. Well, again, no one knows who Vader is. They,
it. At
like
this point, yeah, very few people know. who he is.
he doesn't have that reputation that we know, and like we would know if you saw Vader walking down the hall, you turn the other way and run.
Yeah.
But not everyone has
give
that
him a high
knowledge
five.
of him yet. You could try.
And he would just kill me.
But yeah, and in this next arc, or at the end of this arc, we get to see Vader do something, get something very iconic to his character.
Very true.
Very true.
Oh, you guys are good at this stuff.
Yeah.
And also, the one-shot, Storms of Crate, which kind of ties in also to Last Jedi because there's a bridging of the gap too. And it feels familiar with New Rebel Base, kind of like the school theme here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a one shot that we have coming out 2 weeks after Last Jedi hits
We're looking at
theaters.
great panels right here. We got Leia, we got Han.
We got some great art by Mike Mayhew, who's doing the whole book. But yeah, we get to see the first time the Rebels appear on Crate, which is the cool planet that we see in the trailers that has that like awesome red dust that's kicking up. And so we get to see the Rebels first find that planet.
It takes place in at the same time as our ongoing Star Wars series.
Yes, so before Empire Strikes Back, they're still looking to find.
And how does Empire Strikes Back go? I haven't seen that one.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Luke loses his arm? What? Oh,
yeah, Vader cuts off another person's arm.
It's
Like,
tradition.
He does it so much.
It's tradition. Yeah, I'm surprised that anyone has limbs left in the galaxy.
I mean, technically, we don't know. Like Luke's hand looks pretty natural, so everybody might have fake hands.
It's true.
I want one.
I mean, if you really want it, we'll make it happen.
Before we wrap, I got to do two things. We always do this.
Please.
A disclaimer that Marvel and ABC News are both owned by parent company Disney, if you're not aware of that.
Weird.
So is Lucasfilm.
Lucasfilm too?
Yeah.
Just dropping knowledge. And also, I wanted to ask really quick before we go.
Of course.
I Googled JOCASTA New, and the first thing that came up was, is Snoke, which I thought was ridiculous.
Yep. I've seen that.
I'm not even afraid to ask this question because I don't think it's a spoiler in the slightest. What are your thoughts of that theory?
We're upset about the leak. We're doing what we can to make sure that these leaks stop.
Yeah.
No, it's I mean,
saw a split. Someone had done a split art of Snoke's face
course.
and her face.
Oh, really?
I'm
have
not
you not
even
seen that?
kidding.
I've not seen that. No.
I mean, at this point,
It
I'm
makes me so
pretty
happy.
confident any Star Wars character is actually Snoke. Meme
I'm
up on
pretty
the
sure
internet about
BB-8
them.
is Snoke.
Whoa,
So
how could that be?
I'm pretty sure.
It's possible.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sadly, we have to say goodbye. This has been a blast. To Heather, to Jordan, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been ABC News Inside Marvel.